Hi, everybody in the Dancing Jaguar community. It's wonderful to be here with you today. As you know, I am Ava Goulette, and I love bringing people that inspire me to this community so I can introduce their work and the incredible things they're doing with children and families around the world to you. And today I have a really special guest. Her name is Efrat Shokef, and she is based out of Israel. And she has inspired me because of the work that she does with children and families. And I'd like for her to say hello and tell us a little bit about you and how you got to be doing what you are so passionate about.
Hi, Eva. Thank you. It's so nice to be here and welcome everyone. I think we have in common a big life crisis. Mine was a big car crash, a very serious car crash. I was severely wounded and had a near-death experience. And that happened to me over 12 years ago when my three girls were babies, all babies. I came back and I was searching for a way to be a mom. I was unable to do any of the caring, and I was sitting on the couch and watching in my good days, in my good moments, and in other moments, many moments, I was absent, and that took me on a search of the essence of motherhood, and answers started coming together with the doors that opened through my near-death experience. What makes me this figure that is sitting on the couch and he's doing nothing and he's unable to take care of my dependent children? What makes me their mom? And I've been walking with those questions, and then for one thing led to another, and I realized that I need to understand the new doors that open, the new veils that open, and that led me to a shamanic training, and to more shamanic training, and then to additional shamanic training, and to working with children and teens and families. So today I am working as a shamanic healing practitioners, both here in Israel, and since the work is energetically and remote, I have clients worldwide, and it's beautiful to see the differences and the similarities, how much children are alike everywhere. I lead group shamanic journeying groups of parent and children. I have a teens group I've been working now with for 3 years. We've been meeting and meditating and doing journeying and learning tools, and mostly learning to trust what we know for ourselves. And it's really beautiful to see how those teens, wow, they're centered. They know what they want to do. They know what's right and wrong for them. And they have the tools to care for their energy field. So they stay protected and they are able to walk the beauty that they are, which is wow. I think that's what we inspired. I think that's what the two of us share, this wish for every child to have the tools they need to walk who they are, to walk their soul's path. And your camps, that's what children get there, the confirmation that they know, and they gain the tools. And that's what I try also to do with my clients, and in my groups and in my writing on my website, just provide as much information as possible. So parents to those sensitive, gifted, spiritually aware children would have the tools to walk who they are.
So, do you work with parents individually, children individually, and families as groups? Do you have a preferred way you work with people? I guess I should ask you one question at a time.
I'll try to follow on everything. I always prefer working together with the parents. I mostly, other than in rare cases, I do not work with children until I work at least once with their parents. And that is for a lot of reasons, but two main reasons. One, a lot of things can be resolved through us parents. Not everything our children bring are themes or challenges that we carry ourselves, but some we do. And then once we work with a parent, often we don't need to work with a child. The second is that I think that when we take our child to any experience, a healing experience, we need to know what it's like, what's going on. So I strongly prefer working with parents before children. Also in the groups I work, it's groups of parents and their children, a few brothers and sisters sometimes. The only group I'm not working with the parents is a group of teens. We did start as a group of moms and their daughters. And at some point, some of them said, okay, now we want to be on our own. But all of their moms do journeying and use those tools. So when those girls come home or have a personal experience because they practice at home, they have who to talk with. And I'll add another thing about this perspective. We walk together. We walk together. So if a child needs tools, we need to ask what's our role as parents in providing those tools. And often before providing tools, it's about us walking our path, because we don't know what did our children plan for their lifetime. They're children and they're small, but they're youth souls, evolved souls, and they had a plan just like we did. And we don't know what that plan is. So and the only way I understand, based on my personal experience and the many clients I've worked with so far, is that the only way to support our children in walking their path is for us to walk our path, because then we give them the legitimacy, the mirror, the energetic mirror, to do whatever is right for them. Only then it's about the tools. And tools are always better taught by parents. So if I can guide the parents to use the tools, I prefer that on working directly with the children. And we'll talk about that later. But one of the free guides I provide on my website, and also for all of you listening, is about such tools and how we share them with our kids. Very basic things like breath and visualization and more. So yeah, I hope I answered all your questions.
You did. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'd like to hear your point of view of how you see children of today different than the children we were working with pre-COVID, because for me, I'm seeing a big difference. And I'd like to hear from your perspective what you have discovered or learned about children through this process.
So most of the children I work with, interesting. Children and families I've worked with before COVID and along COVID, they were all very much empowered in their own inner processes and ability to see bigger pictures, perspectives, know how to calm themselves. So COVID was an opportunity to go within, to have quiet time with the family. It was, I don't want to say for everyone, because maybe I'm missing out on one or two, but I think for most, it was a very positive experience, which is unlike many other children that do not have the tools that my community of clients have.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So I think that's, in a way, it's not a research based. It's my perspective of things, but I think in a way it shows us how empowering those very simple tools of working with ourselves and knowing who we are for children. Children that I've been working since, new clients, or not so new anymore, but as things started, the one thing they all needed was to be allowed to float, to be allowed not to stay constantly grounded. The anxiety, the screens, it was different everywhere, in every place of our worldwide clients based. Children had very different experiences of the messages. When COVID started, we were for a few months in California, and the message of go out, do sports was very different from what my clients here in Israel experienced during those months is of being quarantined constantly. And as soon as children that I met had the ability, the confirmation, it's okay for them to journey, to imagine, to take that breath out of the anxiety. It was a very powerful healing taking place. That mostly happened not directly. Most of that guidance that I experienced did not happen directly with the children, but through their parents that reached out, said, "What are we doing? How do we support our children?" Yeah, I'll add that I'm full of gratitude for each parent that takes that perspective, seeing that their child needs support and is willing to open up for so many tools available for us today.
That's beautiful. Great. So if any of my listeners or our listeners in the Dancing Jaguar community right now would like to explore working with you, how can they reach you? And can you share a little bit about what kind of work you do with parents online?
Easiest way to reach me is through my website or my email. Just share, and if they're part of your community, say you're part of this community, because I think that to my understanding of this community, you're all very aware parents, and parents who care what happens to your children, and parents who are choosing to walk your journey and evolve and grow together with your children, which how I wish all parents were doing that. This is not the case. This is not the case. And I think that's why we have so many trouble and anxious and lost kids who are not on their path because they don't have any tools or information or adults, teachers that can reflect. Not, we often don't reflect anything by what we say or do, it just by the mirror, the lighthouse that we walk. So you can reach me by my website or email me, and there's a lot of information on my website. I like starting with having people read and seeing my perspective, if it works for them, if it doesn't work for them. I do personal sessions, starting with parents and then children. And I am also very happy to guide, and it's not mentoring, but it is slightly mentoring parents or teachers who work with other kids on the various tools that I am using, so that they can use them with their community. I like it when people take what we do and the tools we have, and that's part of why I admire your work, because you offer that teaching so people can take it into their community and offer and create groups of parents and children. So for you, it's a camp of children and a camp for adults, but people can also take it to that mutual community. And when children have that community of like-minded, spiritually aware families, it's empowering. It's empowering because they can be who they are.
Exactly. Yes. And I do have in my future spirit camp for parents and children to come together.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think that, spirit camp for families. And that is something that I also want to bring to retreat centers around the world. So I think that would be a really great opportunity for families to bond together and learn and grow together with these tools and techniques.
Yeah, and that's extremely important, because the kids of today, they're more advanced than we are. And the younger they are even more, they're gorgeous luminosity. You can't ignore that. They're really, really wise, and they bring a lot of gifts. But we, their parents, we have been programmed. They haven't been programmed yet, hopefully. They do as they grow. And we have been programmed. And often we as parents need that teaching and that releasing and the learning of the tools. You know how a lot of, I see it in many places, the use of the word awakened. Spiritually awakened children. Children are not awakened. We adults need to awake. and remember that we are spirit and that we're not just our physical. Like the two of us had this opportunity to move from believing it to knowing it in a near-death experience. But many people, and you don't need a near-death experience for that. just do what you need to do to walk your path. Need that reminder. Sorry for my English, that we are spirit, and children are aware. They're just aware, and we need to nourish that and learn and walk our path so we can nourish that as parents.
I know we can learn so much just from observing the children, can't we? Yeah, they show
Yeah.
up in their authenticity, and yeah, then we mess them up in society with all of the rules and conformity, and yeah, but they show up just as who they are, and it's beautiful. You're right, the luminosity, their light shines so bright. And my goal is to help them maintain that light and to keep shining that light out into the world and not allow it to be dimmed by society and what at least here in the US, what I call conforming to what's normal when they start going to school and stuff. Just let that light shine brightly and be who you are and show up in your confidence and just knowing that essence of who you are and being so confident in bringing that forward in the world. I mean, that is such a gift we can give to the children today, isn't it?
It's a gift we must give the children of today, but it's not easy, because a soul comes and embodies a body, and our role as its parents, and then as teachers come in as teachers also, is to help it know how this world works. And it's different for every culture and geographical areas. We're global, but we're not. And that conformity, that knowing of how to walk in a body is extremely important. And then we also wish this to give them that piece of stay connected,
Mm-hmm.
stay who you are, walk your essence. And there's often a very big gap between those two threads of guidance. And and again, it comes back to what I said earlier, again, to my perspective, is that the only way parents can provide that if they walk who they are.
That
And
is
that's
so
very hard
true.
because we have been programmed for so many years. It's a path. But when they see us walking that path, it's like, it's amazing to see kids relieved. I'm sure you have that experience as well. Kids show up for a session, or the parents call me, and we start to dig in, and I start a track using my shamanic tools to see what's happening. The kid doesn't need a session. They need their parents to show up for their own work. So
Mm-hmm.
they pull every strings they can until the parents show up for the work. So we want them to walk their essence. And I think more and more of the souls coming to us are going to insist that that's what we allow them. But there's a lot of learning on our behalf, and there's a lot of accepting. And sometimes for many parents, there is also a piece of grieving, because their child is unique, their child is sensitive, their child doesn't want to go to big parties, and their child is not as social as they want him to be. Many characteristics of those very sensitive, special souls that are coming to us,
Mm-hmm.
that are not conforming to what is considered a healthy child. And they are healthy. They're
Yeah.
very healthy. They are more healthy than many other children are. But there is a piece of accepting that my child needs something else, and saying yes to that shared journey of growing, so we can both, parent and child, walk our essence.
Well said. Yes.
I
That's
try.
beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. So tell our listeners a little bit about a little more about the free gift and the tools that they may be able to receive in the ebook that you have, and how they can share that information with their children.
Okay, so for a long time, I was clients came in, children came in, and then they went back home. And in the sessions with children often focus on, I do the tracking and the shamanic work behind, but I talk to them, and we communicate, and I teach them tools. We just experiment. And it's very empowering because they see this crazy redheaded and that speaks their language. And often their parents are surprised to see how much they speak. But the session ends and they have a tool or two and they went home. And I felt I needed to have something organized, a bunch of tools. And I chose 6 tools, 6 different tools, starting with the breath, which is very, very, very simple. But we often don't know how to share the tool of breath with our children. So we use it and we tell them to breathe and and there's so many things you can do with the breath, or visualizing light. How do you visualize it? Why it's important? How do we work with that? How do we work with stones? How do we work with the earth or nature? Journaling. How do we center? So I felt I wanted to give that to my clients, and the free ebooks, it's a sequence of 6 ebooks started as detailed instructions. So they include explanations and instructions. They include examples to make sure that it's understood what I'm referring to and how to work with each tool. And the highlight that I find is that they also include coloring pages. Now you think coloring pages are only for the little ones, but they're not. Teens enjoy them very much. And the beauty of the coloring pages, especially some of them, I feel, I've been getting amazing feedback about them, that when parents don't know how to explain, sometimes if we don't understand something fully ourselves, it's very hard for us to share what it is, why should we do it, how we do it. We need to first have that personal experience. And the ebooks talk about that and teach the parents for themselves, and then on how to teach the children. So the coloring pages, you can print them out, you can put them on a table, some good colors, positive colors, always use positive colors that make things bright and colorful and happy. And just don't even tell your kids to work with those coloring pages. I've received more than one feedback of parents that just printed them out and the kids sat down and did the work. And by coloring, they use the circles of light. They visualized what they were coloring, and it was a confirmation of the tools. Many children use those tools anyway. So now we can talk about it, because here mom gave it to me, and it makes it much easier sharing. And to get them, you will share a link so parents can use that. And you can also, if you don't do it now, you can also find it on my website pretty much everywhere, because I really believe we need the tools as parents. So I'm trying to share as many tools as possible. You can also find on my website, and I think we shared that as well, a guide to shamanic journeying, basic shamanic journeying. Shamanic journeying is a whole topic we can talk about for hours. We just had a weekend on shamanic journeying with other practitioners. And but in its essence, it's the magic of imagination. And it's something that is very easy to learn. Children do it anyway. And that's another guide I offer for now. And there are some other ones coming up. I'll share them with you when they're up, and you can share it with your
Beautiful. I would appreciate
community.
that. Thank you.
Yeah.
What I shared information about your shamanic journeying weekend for practitioners a couple of weeks ago, but I'd like for you to just tell us a little bit about that, and then my community can be on the lookout for the next time you do that program. When I mention it again, they'll have met you and know what we're talking about. So would you share a little more about what that was like?
Yeah. So about every 6 months, sometimes more, there's a group of us practitioners meeting. I'm leading those meetings, and we take each time we take one tool or a theme that we're working with children, and we try to strip it to its essence. Try to really, really understand that tool. So what we did in that weekend, and we're going to do it again, also focusing on shamanic journeying. So if you're interested, you can contact me, and I'll know to put you on a very specific narrow email list that I sent just about those weekends. We stripped what shamanic journeying is. We try to understand together, and we try to understand together because I believe that if you don't understand something fully, you cannot be teaching it. And we also had experimented with many ways to journey with children, so that each of us, eventually we each work differently. And maybe my way of seeing shamanic journey, I'm very structured. So I have a very structured way of how I teach. And the first few journeys I do with children are very, very clear. I know what I'm saying, but maybe my explanations are not fitting for another practitioner or another healer or another guide or teacher. So we brought a lot of examples of different ways that you can use this amazing advanced imagination tool to work with children. So if anybody is interested, just contact me and I will let you know. And again, I'll share with you again when we have another such meeting on journey or on another theme. We try to take all the tools that we have, so we really narrow them down and then allow them to expand from who we are, each of us.
I think that is beautiful that you have found a way to bring practitioners together. I was still at the point where I was trying to find the practitioners who work with children and families. So I was ecstatic when you and I were able to make a connection.
Yeah, me too.
But the fact that you have been creating this group for practitioners to come together and share our experiences and learn from one another about the various ways we work with children. I am just so excited about this. And for those in my community who are listening, I was already booked to do one of my teacher training programs the weekend that Efrat had her shamanic weekend with practitioners. So I wasn't able to attend, but I do look forward to attending in the future. I think it's fabulous that you've created this opportunity for those of us who work with kids.
Yeah, that would be great. And let me, it's not just for shamanic practitioners. It's open to anyone working with energy, holistic healing with children. So
Oh,
because
beautiful.
we want it, my aim is always to have as many perspectives as possible. We're all teachers in those meetings. So, and we bring different, and we question. I love questioning, because when we question everything, we're able to pin things down and know for ourselves, self-reference. And journeying, shamanic journeying is all about self-referencing. So
Right. Oh, that's beautiful. And I think that there's a very um pretty extensive community of people that would fit that description that you have of people who are welcome to attend that online weekend workshop with you. So hopefully we'll be able to merge a little bit our two communities together so we can all
yeah.
learn and grow together. That would be just fab. Oh, I just got goosebumps. Wouldn't that be fabulous?
We have a lot of adventures coming up.
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Yes.
So I think it's about time for us to be winding down here. Is there anything that you would like to leave with the Dancing Jaguar community before we sign off on our chat today? Anything that you would like to say as we're closing?
Now I have goosebumps. Um, from everything I know about you and about your community, it's a community of people and parents and teachers and guides who really, really care about children, who are able to see children as they are and accept them as they are with their beauty and the gifts that they bring us. And I guess my wish is that if any of you have any doubts of what you know in your heart, just trust that and don't be afraid to show up and walk who you are. There's so many children in the world that all they need us is to see us across the street and see that reflection of luminosity and know that everything is going to be okay. So show up, show up for whatever is inviting you to show up, and trust your heart. And then we can all dance this together, because we each one of us does a little bit in our little corners in the world, and little themes and little pieces, and then it comes together like you and I, Eve, and and all of your community. So I'm grateful for anyone walking this path.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much. And to all the listeners out there, you can find all of Efrat's contact information in the comment section below this post. And I encourage you to click on those links and learn a little bit more about her. And let's see if we can bring these two different sides of the world together in a beautiful community of support for children around the world. So thank you
Amen
so
to
much
that.
for being here, Efrat. It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure, and I look forward to future collaborations with you.
Definitely. Thank you.